Empaths are often described as highly sensitive individuals who can deeply feel and absorb the emotions of others, sometimes to an overwhelming degree. Beyond the popular conception of empathy, many empaths seem to carry something extra: a keen intuition, a natural capacity for understanding, and an almost psychic ability to sense what others cannot verbally express. From an esoteric standpoint, it might appear as though they were simply born with these gifts, fully developed from birth. However, psychology and personal experiences often tell a more nuanced story, one in which trauma plays a role in honing or even catalyzing these empathic abilities. After watching this video, you will have a better understanding of how trauma can create or at least intensify the empathic experience, and how empaths can learn to nurture their own well-being by becoming better friends to themselves. 1. How trauma can create or enhance empathic abilities. Heightened awareness as a survival mechanism. Trauma can stem from many sources: childhood emotional neglect, difficult family dynamics, or abrupt life-altering events. In situations of continuous or recurrent stress, a child or adult may become hyper-vigilant, constantly scanning their environment for signs of danger. This survival mechanism can manifest as a heightened sensitivity to tone of voice, micro-expressions, body language, and energetic shifts in others. Over time, this state of constant alert can morph into a refined empathic skill. The ability to detect subtle changes in someone else's mood or demeanor becomes an internal alarm that helps the individual anticipate potential harm or conflict. While this is an adaptation that keeps the person safe, it can also create challenges. The empath remains perpetually on edge, absorbing others' emotions, often without realizing the toll it takes on their mental and physical well-being. Emotional resonance and people-pleasing. When individuals experience early trauma, especially in close relationships, they may learn that pleasing or managing the emotions of others is crucial to maintaining safety and acceptance. An empath might become adept at reading someone's emotional state and adjusting their own behavior accordingly, sometimes to extremes, because their internal narrative says, "If they're happy, I'm safe." This coping strategy can linger into adulthood, translating into a tendency to overextend themselves, to take on friends' or partners' emotional burdens, and to shapeshift in response to others' needs. Though these qualities can be seen as compassionate and altruistic, they also leave the empath vulnerable to burnout, anxiety, and depression. Spiritual interpretation and karma. From an esoteric viewpoint, some traditions suggest that souls choose particular life paths or karmic lessons, and being an empath is tied into that spiritual mission. According to these perspectives, traumas in this lifetime, or even past lives, activate latent empathy as part of a greater spiritual journey. One might see a sense of calling. I need to help others heal because I know what it's like to be wounded. While this spiritual framework can offer purpose and meaning, it is vital to balance that sense of mission with practical, real-world self-care. 2. The cost of constant empathy. It's a bittersweet irony. What makes an empath so good at relating to others can also make life feel overwhelming. Empaths can pick up on the unspoken suffering in a room and then carry it as if it were their own. They might wake up feeling drained, not realizing they're weighed down by conversation that took place days ago. Over time, this can lead to compassion fatigue, where the empath's capacity to give and care gets exhausted. It can also trigger anxiety and depression, fueled by the crushing sense of responsibility for others' emotions. The empath struggles often revolve around neglecting their own needs and boundaries. This is where learning self-compassion becomes not just a nice idea, but a fundamental requirement for emotional survival. 3. Learning to be a better friend to yourself. Recognize your inner child. A key starting point is to acknowledge that much of an empath's coping style began in childhood. Whether your trauma was overt abuse, emotional neglect, or something more subtle, that younger version of you had to find ways to survive. Sometimes that meant becoming the peacemaker, the caretaker, or the ultra-perceptive observer. Begin a self-dialogue that gently affirms this younger self. Thank you for protecting us. I understand why you're so vigilant. We are safe now, and I can take care of us. Speaking in this inwardly compassionate manner acknowledges that your empathic qualities were born out of necessity and that they served an important role at one time. Establish boundaries, energetic and emotional. Empaths often struggle to see the line between themselves and others. If you find yourself absorbing everyone else's emotional weight, it's crucial to learn how to consciously set boundaries. Some practical techniques include body awareness. Pay attention to how your body feels when interacting with someone. If you feel tension, heaviness, or fatigue, it may be a sign that you're taking on energy that isn't yours. Visualization. Imagine a gentle protective sphere or bubble around you, letting in warmth and connection, but filtering out negativity or overwhelming energy. Permission to say no. Realize that your worth is not determined by how much you can give. Saying no when you need to is an act of self-respect and emotional survival. Self-soothing techniques. When you are highly empathic, your system can go into overdrive simply by being in a chaotic environment or around emotionally intense individuals. Incorporating self-soothing rituals can be transformational. Grounding exercises. This can be as simple as taking 3 deep, deliberate breaths while focusing on the feeling of your feet on the floor. Envision roots anchoring you to the earth, stabilizing and calming you. Daily check-ins. Set aside a few minutes in the morning or evening to ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? Identify if it's truly your emotion or something you picked up from others. Gentle movement. Practices like yoga, tai chi, or slow stretching can help release tension stored in the body. Movement and breath reconnect you with your own energy field. Identify and challenge negative self-talk. Trauma often internalizes messages like, I'm not good enough, or I should do more for people to be valuable. Over time, these can transform into an empath's incessant drive to care for others while neglecting themselves. Challenge these thoughts by questioning their validity. Why do I believe I'm not worthy of the same care I offer to others? Replace them with affirmations rooted in reality. I am worthy of rest and compassion. Or, my emotional health matters just as much as anyone else's. While this may feel foreign at first, repetition and consistency help rewire the subconscious mind. Practical empath hygiene. Think of daily practices that maintain your emotional and energetic health, much like brushing your teeth or washing your hands. For example, meditation or journaling, a few minutes of quiet reflection to integrate the day's events and emotions. Salt baths or showers. In esoteric circles, salt is believed to clear energy. A warm salt bath or a quick salt scrub in the shower can help you feel refreshed and rid of any lingering emotional residue. Sacred space. Create a corner of your room or house that's just for you. Fill it with items that bring a sense of peace. Crystals, soft lighting, or meaningful artwork. Make it a place of refuge where you can recharge, seek healthy relationships and support. Healing from trauma and learning to manage empathic gifts is not a journey you have to take alone. Whether you find a trauma-informed therapist, a supportive spiritual community, or a circle of trusted friends, having connections that respect and honor your sensitivity is vital. Surround yourself with people who understand and encourage your boundaries rather than dismiss them. Additionally, consider seeking professional help if past trauma continues to trigger emotional flashbacks or self-destructive patterns. Therapy can offer structured techniques for setting boundaries and processing difficult emotions, ultimately helping you feel safer in your own skin. 4. Embrace the gift. Release the burden. Being an empath can feel like walking a tightrope between profound connection and emotional overload. Recognizing how trauma might have shaped your capacity to feel so deeply is the first step towards self-compassion and setting healthy limits. Rather than seeing empathy as a curse, you can learn to honor it as a gift while maintaining a balanced life. It begins with acknowledging your inner child and setting firm emotional boundaries. It evolves through daily self-soothing, reworking negative self-talk, and embracing empath hygiene. And it flourishes when you create supportive environments and meaningful relationships where you can both give and receive care. Ultimately, growing out of trauma into wholeness means no longer sacrificing yourself for the emotions of others. Instead, it means honoring your unique sensitivity, recognizing it as a precious tool, and using it in ways that uplift both you and those around you. By learning to be your own best friend, treating yourself with the same compassion you so readily offer others, you unlock a deeper peace, allowing the empath within you to thrive without being consumed by the world's emotional currents.